Gandhi class, welcome to your third talk for writing lesson this week. And our learning objective for this lesson is, can I plan a recount? So today we're going to be planning our own recounts, and we're going to pretend that we are a Victorian child and we'll write a diary entry as though we are them. Now this is your plan, so you must keep it safe because we're going to be writing it up in tomorrow's lesson. So I would like for you to watch this video below. It's going to give you some ideas about what it was like to be a Victorian child. This link is on the task sheet and will be in the description box below this video, and I will post it into our team's chat as well. And I want you to make notes about what happens from the moment they are in the Victorian period. This is from 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. So you can either choose to start it at those 2 minutes and 40 seconds, or if you'd like to watch all of it, then you are more than welcome to. And as you're making the notes, I want you to have a think about whether or not you're going to be the boy or the girl in this video. So please go and watch this video now and come back to my video once you have finished and you have got your notes. Okay, so here are my notes that I made. If you missed any of them, you are more than welcome to add them in if you like. So this is written in chronological order as well, and these are just some quick notes that I made as I watched through the video myself. So they walked to school with Grandad, then they met some friends on the way and said goodbye to Grandad. They sat down in class, they had to clean their slate for the lesson, and someone got told off for using their sleeve. They began their lessons. Someone gave, and I'm pretending to be the girl, by the way, in this situation, someone gave her brother a yo-yo to play with, and then he got told off for playing with the yo-yo, and he was made to stand in the corner with the dunce's hat on, and then his name was put in the punishment book. And then I also wrote that everybody gasped because it was quite a big reaction to his name being put in the punishment book. Then Grandad came to the class with a zoetrope to teach us about it, and everybody watched, and they were all amazed by it. Then they went outside and played with some different Victorian toys. They met a girl who showed off her hobby horse that her dad made. And then this girl also took them into this massive house, and then they went to have a look around. They found some other toys and they had a look at them, and then they hid behind a curtain because they could hear somebody coming and they weren't supposed to be there. But then they were found by a child, and luckily he didn't say anything. Then they ran out of the house and went home with Grandad. So those were the notes that I made. And as I said, if you'd like to add any of them, you are more than welcome to. Okay, and as a reminder, here is our recount toolkit. So you need to make sure it's written in past tense. You've got adverbials of time and time connectives. You've written it in chronological order. You're using emotive words and language, so really get your reader to feel different emotions. It's going to be written in first person, so we're going to be using I, me, we. You need a day or a date. It's going to be quite informal. You're going to have some contractions. You need varied sentence structures, which means you can have some short sentences and some longer sentences. And if you really want to push yourself, you could try and think about including subordinate and relative clauses. We've already learnt about those, and that's if you want to challenge yourself further. You need a closing statement to reflect on what's happened that day, and then a use of pronouns to avoid repetition. So that's avoiding using the name over and over again. You'd use he or she or they to avoid that repetition. So this is what our plan is going to roughly look like. We're going to have the day and date here, the main bulk of what happened in chronological order, which could be split into paragraphs, and then a closing statement to reflect on the day. Did you have a good or a bad day? And maybe you could discuss something that you're looking forward to the next day or in the future. So within the main bulk of what happened, we're going to be including things like emotive language, past tense, first person, informal, and adverbials of time or time connectives as well. Okay, so we're going to be planning this together, and I want you to watch me as I plan in my book, and then you can have a go at planning yourself after each part. So remember, this is a plan. You don't need to write full sentences, and you need to use your notes from the video and our toolkit to help you. So let's have a look at the first part, the day or date. You can either write the day, so day 72, or you can give an exact date. But remember, we are the Victorians, so the date needs to match that. So for example, you could have the 3rd of February 1819. So I'm going to go to my book now to show you what to do, and then you're going to have a go. So here is my book, and I think I'm going to choose the day option, like it is in our story, The Diary of the Victorian Maid. So at the very top, capital D for day, and I'm going to say day 24. So pause the video for you to write either the day or the date and press play when you're ready to move on to the next section. Okay, so now we're going to plan the main bulk, and this is where you're going to need to use your notes from the video to help you. And make sure that you are also including adverbials of time or time connectives, emotive language, informal language, as in using contractions such as I've, we've, could have, first person, past tense, and chronological order. Here are some adverbials of time and time connectives that you could use as well. And I want you to watch me as I plan mine, and then you can have a go. Now, when I plan mine, I'm not going to plan the whole thing because this is your task, so I'm just going to show you how to plan some parts of it. Okay, let's go back to my book. Lovely. So I'm going to start off with a fronted adverbial of time. And you could use something like at the beginning of the day, firstly, one of those ones. I'm going to write at the beginning of the day. Comma. And I'm just going to get, oh, there it is. Just going to get my highlighters to show you where I'm putting everything in. You don't need to do this, but if it helps you, you are more than welcome to. So this is now my fronted adverbial of time. So that's there for me. And the first thing we did at the beginning of the day was we walked to school with Grandad. So then I'm going to write at the beginning of the day, we walked, that's my past tense. To school with Grandad. Now, this is where you could add a bit more information if you'd like to. So you could write something about how the day was. Was it a nice, warm, sunny day? Was it cold? How did you feel walking to school? Were you excited to get to school? And that's where you can bring in your emotive language. So I might write something like, very excited to see my wonderful friends. And then again, that there is using your emotive language. Okay, so that's the first point. So that will probably be my first paragraph. And then I'm going to look at what is next. So next I might talk about the fact that we sat down into class. So I'll be using my fronted adverbial of time, which is then. We're going to say sat down in class. That's my past tense because I said I sat down in class. And then here we can talk about the emotions that you were feeling as you sat down in class. You can talk about what happened when you're in there. So you might want to talk about cleaning the slate for the lesson. And then you could say somebody got told off for using their sleeve to clean. And maybe here you could include some emotive language to describe the teacher and how she was so horrible. So then you could say something like horrible old teacher, to describe that she was being really horrible by telling off the child for using his sleeve. You can then also maybe in this part talk about somebody giving your brother a yo-yo to play with, or if you're the boy, you could talk about somebody giving you a yo-yo to play with. So then I'm going to start a new paragraph, and I'm going to start with the fronted adverbial of time by saying, during the lesson. So there's my fronted adverbial of time. During the lesson, and I'm going to write yo-yo to brother. And again, this is a plan, so it only needs to be in note form. You don't need to write in full sentences. And when you are writing notes, I will show you in tomorrow's lesson how to turn those notes into full sentences. So during the lesson, yo-yo to brother, poor brother. So I'm trying to include emotive language there to make the reader feel sorry for my brother. Poor brother told off by nasty teacher. And then she made him stand in a corner. Dunce's hat. And name in punishment book. So here we're talking about what had happened. With the dunce's hat, maybe you could talk about how you felt sorry for your brother. So I might just say, felt really sorry for brother. And then you can discuss that everybody in the class gasped at this. So it was quite shocking. Everyone in class gasped. And then you could say maybe everybody felt sorry for him. So here I know when I write it up tomorrow, I really want to make the reader feel a lot of emotions towards the brother. You've got nasty teacher, poor brother, everyone felt sorry. So I'm going to try and make the reader as well feel really sorry for the brother. Then in my next paragraph, I'm going to talk about Grandad coming to share the zoetrope with everyone. So I'm going to use maybe next as my fronted adverbial of time. Next, Grandad came to show zoetrope. And then maybe here you can discuss how amazed everyone was. So I'm going to write amazed to remind me that that's what I want to include. Amazed, and yeah, I think that's what I'll include for that one. So then that is 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs that I've got so far. You've got some other things that you could talk about as well. You could talk about playing with the different Victorian toys. You could talk about the hobby horse. You could talk about the big house and what you found, and then going home as well. But as I said, I'm only going to show you how to plan some of it because this is your task. So what I'd like for you to do now is pause the video, and I want you to plan the main bulk. So split it into paragraphs. What are you going to say in each one? Think about the emotions you want to convey. Think about the fronted adverbials of time that you're going to use. And when you have finished planning that part of your recount, then please come back to the lesson. Okay, so now the closing statement. I want you to reflect on the day. What was it like? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? How did it make you feel? And maybe you can include something that you're looking forward to in upcoming days as well. So if we go back to my book, so I'm going to just move it to the very bottom because I know it's the very last bit and you guys would have had more planning in this part. So the closing statement, I'm just going to write here, so I know that this is my closing statement to round it off. And I'm going to write saying that had a wonderful day. And again, remember, this is note form. This is not how it's actually going to look when we write it up in neat tomorrow. Had a wonderful day. Enjoyed playing with lots of toys. I can't wait for school tomorrow. Okay, so that's my closing statement. Obviously, when I write it up tomorrow, I'm not going to be including this part in my recount. I'm just going to have this as a separate last paragraph here. So pause the video to write something for your closing statement. Okay, so please make sure you keep these plans safe as you're going to need it for tomorrow's lesson, and don't forget to upload the plan to Tapestry. Thank you, Gandhi class, for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.